Hello, my name is Callie Relford, and I am a student at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. This presentation is for a social media audit that I worked on in my social media and communications course. The company whose social media I chose to analyze was Apple. In this audit, I looked at Apple's various social media accounts and discussed where they succeed and where they struggle. So, as I mentioned, I conducted a deep dive on Apple's company values and goals. I analyzed Apple's social media accounts for their company, but excluded services like iTunes, Apple Music, podcasts, their sub brands, and other like foreign language Apple accounts. I discovered that Apple succeeds on a few platforms but really struggles on others. And then at the very end, I pitched recommendations for their social media strategy. Apple Inc. is a consumer electronics company located in Cupertino, California. It was formerly known as Apple Computer Company and was officially formed on April 1st, 1976 by Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs, and Ronald Wayne. Originally, the company created just computers, but in the 2000s, Apple started to make cell phones, laptops, and MP3 players with its own media playing software. Now, in 2019, we have iPhones, iMacs, MacBooks, all of those different kinds of Apple products that we use today. According to Apple's LinkedIn profile, they have a commitment to leaving the world better than they found it, and they strive to create the best customer experiences. The first mission that Apple has is accessibility. They are devoted to making their products and software as accessible as it can be, and their software includes a variety of features that assist people who are blind or visually impaired and deaf or hard of hearing, and people with physical limitations and learning differences. Some of these features include voiceover, closed captioning, assistive touch, and speak screen. In 2014, Apple became a part of the Connected Initiative and pledged $100 million to 114 underserved schools across the United States. With this program, they donated iPads, Macs, and Apple TVs to students and teachers in classrooms, and they implemented a process that provides planning, professional learning, and ongoing guidance so that schools can continue to experience the power of technology. They also conduct full surveys of the school's infrastructure and install or upgrade a network to be able to support their products for that school. Electronics take a lot of material to make, but Apple has a daring goal when it comes to manufacturing their products. Their goal is to one day manufacture products without mining any new material from the earth. And they also want to reduce their carbon footprint, which has already gone down by 35% since 2015. Some of the things that they've already done have include powering all their facilities with 100% renewable energy, using recovered and renewable materials, eliminating harmful substances from their devices, and implementing a trade-in/recycling program for old devices. Apple is also super passionate about diversity and inclusion, and their numbers show that passion. 53% of their new hires in the US are from historically underrepresented groups in technology, including women and people who identify as Black, Hispanic, Native American, or Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islander. They're dedicated to equal pay, making sure that women earn the same amount of men when performing similar work, and that underrepresented minorities earn $1 for every dollar white employees make. They also partner with various colleges and institutions to empower students and educators, and they have diversity network associations that have been going for over 30 years, which are employee-led groups that foster a culture of belonging through education, leadership programs, and networking. And over 25,000 employees belong to these groups. Keeping personal information private is something that Apple is dedicated to doing. To keep your devices secure as possible, Apple implemented passcodes, either alphanumeric or 6 digits, as well as Touch ID and Face ID. All information on your device is encrypted, including credit card and debit card information, text messages, and health and fitness data. Individual users can control how much or how little access certain apps have to their data, and Apple requires developers to ask for permission and provide explanations of what they're requesting. Because Apple products are made all over the world, they work with suppliers to ensure that their requirements are met in their supply chain. They require fair working hours, a safe workplace, and a non-discriminatory environment, and they require that employees must be informed of these rights from day one. They also provide educational programs to employees, and more than 3.6 million employees have acquired new skills and advanced their career with the help of Apple's programs since 2008. Here's a list of all the different social media platforms that I analyzed, including Facebook, Instagram, the main Apple Twitter account, their Apple Support Twitter account, YouTube, their LinkedIn, and their blog. So for their Facebook, it is fairly empty. They have 3 actual posts, a new iPhone and Apple Watch model post about people using MacBooks, and a short holiday film from 2018. Their Facebook page has 11.8 million likes and 12 million followers, and they have no posts to back up those followers. So people just like Apple for the fact that it's an Apple Facebook page, and they don't pay attention to any of the posts. They do regularly update their cover photos when new products and services are launched. So like when the new iPhone 11s launched, that series of iPhone launched, they updated it then. And those received from 1.7 thousand to 263.6 thousand reactions and 85 to 8.7 thousand comments. Their Instagram, on the other hand, is very active. They have 19.3 million followers, and as of the time of the audit, they had 537 posts. They use it every day or every other day, and they post videos, photo sets, photos, and just like tips and trick videos. They have likes that range from roughly 10,000 to 100,000 likes. Their video views range from 300,000 to 2 million views. Their comments range from roughly 500 to 9.5 thousand comments. The story highlights on their profile are from around the world, and they show off the latest model of iPhone camera. And their most popular posts are their posts that show off the newest model of iPhone. Their Twitter is just like their Facebook, except worse. They have 0 tweets with 3.5 million followers. So it's like that with the Facebook, how they have a ton of followers, but no posts to back it up, so people just see Apple and they like the post. Just like Facebook, again, their cover photo updates with the newest model. At the time of doing this, it was the iPhone 11 Pro. Their support Twitter, on the other hand, is very active. They have 1.1 million followers, and it posts tips and tricks for different Apple services. Their main tweets are posted once or twice a day to every other day, and the retweets range from about 100 to 1,000 retweets. Their likes range from 200 to 2.5 thousand likes, and the replies range from less than 10 to slightly over 300 replies, and it's consistently Twitter users asking for help and then Apple responding to those tweets. They are constantly replying to Twitter users that tweet them from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. PST. Their YouTube is like their Instagram. It's very popular and very active. They have 10.1 million subscribers, and they post a variety of content like tips and tricks for using different services and different features on iPhones to Memoji music videos. Their views range from 11,000 to 26 million views. Their comments, interestingly enough, are turned off, but their like to dislike ratio is heavily leaning towards like consistently. Their most popular content are product announcements, official Apple events like their keynote events, and tips and tricks for different services and features. Their LinkedIn, while it's a social media, it's not very popular. It has 8 million followers, and it is LinkedIn's number 7 top company, but they have no posts, which means no engagement at all. They have a life section with different tabs, like what it's like to work for Apple, different areas of the company that you could work in, opportunities for working in China, which the page is in English and Chinese, and throughout that page they have company photos. This is an occupation-centered social media, so it has job postings and an employee breakdown, so like where they went to school, how many connections the viewer has to Apple, different alumni statuses, that kind of stuff. They also have a page for their advertisements, and you might see these on your homepage, but they cannot be interacted with. The final social media platform is Apple's Newsroom, which is their blog. It's not technically a social media platform, but it's where Apple shares the majority of its information outside of special events. The content that is featured on here are press releases, updates, photos, and feature stories. You can't comment or react to the articles, but they can be shared to social media by email or by copy and pasting the link. Press contact information is given at the end of each article, so this gives readers the ability to reach out to Apple for more information. So, what did I learn about their social media presence? They have a really odd presence on social media, um, from being super active on some platforms to being non existent on others, but their branding is consistent on all of their platforms. Their most successful platforms are Instagram and YouTube, and they have a lot of content with high engagement. And video content is popular in business to consumer companies, which Apple is. Their least successful platforms are Facebook and Twitter. They have lots of followers but barely any content. This could drive people to their website though because of the lack of content, which leads people to Apple Newsroom or just to the Apple website in general to buy products. An honorable mention is the Apple Support Twitter account. It's always very active and interacts with customers on a case-by-case basis. It serves a different purpose than other social media accounts though, and it is the only place where the brand interacts with their consumers. My recommendations are to increase your engagement with your followers. You create relationships with existing and new customers by engaging on your social media platforms. Apple's always going to have customers, but they're missing out on a lot of customers by not engaging and having a presence on social media. They also need a consistent social media presence. Social media holds enormous potential to get closer to consumers, which leads to increased revenue. They have the social media pages, they just need to use them and start posting. And as I mentioned in my next point, they need to introduce brand values to their social media. Successful IMC strategies have brand values incorporated and reflected in their mission statement. They have amazing values, but they're nowhere to be found on their social media accounts. If Apple was to incorporate them into their posts, they could reach an even wider audience who might align themselves with Apple values like environmental responsibility or disability awareness, accessibility, that kind of stuff. And by posting about that, they could definitely start gaining a new and wider audience. So, thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope I gave you all some awesome information about Apple's social media.